RoadActive Suspension is one of the most innovative, effective, and easy-to-install suspension upgrades available. It strengthens your truck's rear leaf springs and transforms how it tows and hauls, all while improving ride quality. And best of all, it can bolt on in about 60 minutes. RAS adds stability, reduces squat, and eliminates bounce, with no airlines, compressors, or adjustments required. This installation covers the RoadActive Suspension Kit, designed specifically for the 2025 Chevy and GMC 1500. Before you begin, park your vehicle on a level surface. Place wheel chocks in front of and behind both front tires. Then loosen each rear lug nut, one full turn, but don't remove them yet. Next, raise the rear of the vehicle so the axle can hang freely. You can lift by the rear differential if using a low-profile jack, or lift at the hitch receiver with a standard floor jack that has at least 17 inches of travel. If lifting at the differential, position jack stands under the front eye of each rear leaf spring and lower the truck onto the stands. This allows full spring arc and ensures safety. If lifting at the hitch receiver, place the jack stands under the front eye of the leaf springs for safety, but do not lower fully onto them. Next, remove the tires. With the axle hanging free, check whether your truck requires the RAS bump stop spacer. You'll need the spacer if your truck has a 2-inch factory lift block and no OEM rear suspension spacer. If that combination isn't present, skip ahead to the next step. If the spacers are required, remove the factory bump stop bolt using an 8mm socket and extension. Position the RAS bump stop spacer between the frame and the OEM bump stop and secure them together with a supplied 8mm hex bolt. Repeat on both sides before continuing. Remove one fully assembled side of your RAS kit from the box. Then take out the bolt and spacer from the axle connecting bracket. Place the unit on top of the leaf spring with the eye bracket hook facing the rear of the vehicle and seat the eye bracket directly over the rear eye of the spring. The gold-threaded rod will be wound several inches into the coil spring for packaging. Turn the spring counterclockwise while holding the rod steady. This lengthens the unit until it fits properly across the leaf spring. Insert the 12mm bolt and spacer directly under the spring into the mounting hole second from the end. Then tighten the nylock nut securely. Before adjusting coil spring tension, confirm that the eye bracket is centered over the leaf spring eye. Position the two nuts on the threaded rod as shown in your kit. Use a 24mm wrench on the front nut next to the coil spring to set your preload, opening the spring gap. Hold the rear lock nut with the other wrench to keep the rod stationary. Use the included preload disc to gauge tension. The white disc, 1mm, adds about 25% support, and the black disc, 2mm, provides up to 50% for heavier loads. If needed, a dime can substitute for the white disc and the nickel for the black. Once your tension is set, jam both nuts tightly against the coil spring to lock the system. Double-check all fasteners, then repeat the entire process on the opposite side. Reinstall the rear wheels, then lower the truck back to the ground. That's it. Installation complete. Expect about a 1.5 to 2.5 inch lift in rear ride height, which will settle slightly after a few drives. RoadActive Suspension, now available for your 2025 Silverado and Sierra 1500 at activesuspension.com. For warranty registration, sales, or support, visit activesuspension.com.